Okay, let's unpack this. We just got back from the Printing United Expo in Orlando, October 22nd to 25th, 2025. Wow, it's huge.
Oh, absolutely massive, yeah.
Yeah.
So our mission today, really, is to kind of synthesize all that stuff we saw, the innovations, the trends, the tech, from all the key vendors.
Basically, give you the shortcut, Maria.
Exactly. Cut through the noise.
And the vibe, I mean, you could feel it on the floor. People were saying exciting, wow, massive innovation was everywhere.
Totally. Even saw Ron Barber, the Hall of Famer, walking around.
No kidding.
Yeah. But that energy, it really points to something bigger. I think we saw manufacturers pushing hard in like three main areas.
Okay, what were they?
So you had your pure high-speed inkjet production, right? And this really big push into digital embellishment, that's what the profit is. And crucially, addressing the IT side, security, infrastructure, the stuff everything else relies on.
Gotcha. Let's dive into production first then. The big iron. You got to start with Xerox, right? They had a huge booth.
They really did.
Yeah.
And they're clearly trying to define, or maybe redefine, their high-end gear. They launched a whole new sub-brand.
Proficio. Yeah, I saw that.
Proficio. It signals, I think, a really focused push, especially into that mid-market space where they dropped those two new presses.
Right. The PX300 and PX500, that's 85 pages per minute for the 300 and 100 for the 500.
Yep.
And the thing that jumped out at me, and probably for you too, was the stock rating. 400 GSM.
Exactly. That's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Heavy cover, packaging inserts, direct mail. And bringing that capability down into the mid-market, that's significant.
So what's the X factor they were pushing? They always have one.
Well, it's that fifth station, right?
Yeah.
That's where the magic happens for applications. You
Yeah.
get gamut extension, you can run clear, low gloss clear, even that fluorescent pink,
Ah, the pink.
Yeah.
Always popular.
always. But it's not just adding colors. They're actually blending tech,
Mhm.
taking bits from the iridescent,
Yeah.
mixing it with stuff from the PrimeLink, like the LED bars, the transfer belt. It's smart engineering.
Okay, so that's toner. What about inkjet? They're still in that game too.
Oh, yeah. They talked about the IGP 900. That's coming Q1 next year. Dedicated inkjet for, transactional business color, mostly uncoated stocks.
But I want to circle back to the strategy. That partnership with Visual Edge IT and the Fiery Office 700X software, what's the real advantage there? Is it just software?
Well, see, that's the key, isn't it? It's not just software. It's about the ecosystem. That 700X is exclusive. It gives you controls, diagnostics, quality optimization you just don't get elsewhere.
So it locks you in, basically.
It creates a strong incentive to stay within their world, yeah. You're buying the press, sure, but you're also buying into the service, the media testing they do at their innovation center and this custom software. It integrates the IT piece right from the start.
That integration. Yeah, that's definitely a theme. Okay, let's pivot. Another big player moving hard into production inkjet, Kyocera. And just so everyone knows, it's Kyocera.
Right, Kyocera. Good clarification. Everyone knows them for like super reliable A4, A3 office machines, right?
Totally. Rock solid.
But the Task Alpha Pro 15000C, that's them planting a flag firmly in production print. It's not just a bigger office machine. It's built for volume, for shops looking to really scale up with inkjet.
The speeds are impressive. 146 ppm for letter size, 86 for 11 by 17. Reliable, cost efficient. Sounds good. But, okay, the footprint. You mentioned this thing can get huge, like 15 feet basic, but over 25 feet with all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, with the roll feed, inserters, the Plotmatic or GVC 3-edge trimmer, it can stretch out.
So how does that fit for a smaller shop? Even if the core engine is cost efficient, where do you put a 25-foot machine?
Well, that's the clever part, I think. It's modular. You don't start with the 25-foot beast. You start with the core engine, which is manageable. Then, as your business grows, as the volume justifies it, you add the peripherals.
Ah, okay, so it scales with you.
Exactly. You invest as needed. The capacity is there for the future, but the initial buy-in, the footprint, it stays reasonable.
That makes way more sense. Okay, so we've got speed, we've got production capacity covered, but speed isn't everything if the output's boring, right? Let's talk embellishment, finishing, adding the sparkle.
Yeah, making it high value. Canon definitely drew crowds with their image press line. But what was interesting was how they showed it integrating with third-party stuff.
Like ScanDecor for the fancy finishes.
Exactly. And Duplo for digital die cutting. It really highlights that trend. The press prints, but the profit comes from what you do after the print.
And Canon's big and wide format, too. They had the VarioPrint IX1700 inkjet running.
Yep, and the global debut of that Colorado XL. They're clearly betting big on large, versatile graphics.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Formax. They had some really specialized stuff, particularly for mail.
Oh yeah, very focused. Mail and finishing. which for a lot of shops, that's a huge revenue stream.
They were calling the ColorMax 9 the hottest envelope printer. Why? What's the big deal?
It's basically down to the engineering.
Yeah.
It can handle stock up to half an inch thick. Think about that.
Wow, half an inch.
Yeah. And it uses a straight, flat paper path with a registration deck.
Hmm.
So you avoid all those jams and misfeeds that plague envelope printing.
Okay, that's good. But is that the hottest feature?
No, the real kicker is the ink versus toner thing. It uses ink.
Right. So no heat, no pressure.
Exactly. Which means you can run standard windowed envelopes without worrying about melting the plastic. That's huge.
Okay. Yeah, that saves money on special envelopes.
It does, but the bigger deal is the cost per print. Ink is way, way cheaper for color on envelopes. We're talking maybe half a penny, maybe even a quarter of a penny per print.
Compared to toner, which is...
5, 6 cents easily, maybe more.
Whoa. Okay, that's not just saving pennies. That fundamentally changes the economics of taking on big mail jobs.
Completely changes the margin structure.
Yeah.
And they backed it up with finishing, too. The DDC-50 die cutter for labels, custom packaging.
And that folder inserter.
Yeah.
The FD608.
Yeah, folding, stuffing, sealing, 300 pieces an hour. Just pure automation for mail.
Meanwhile, Konica Minolta seemed all in on digital decoration. Varnishes, foils.
Yeah. And the key phrase they kept using was, no dies and no make ready.
Pure profit right there. Takes away all the setup cost and time.
It really democratizes that kind of high-end finishing. Smaller shops can now offer stuff that used to require expensive traditional tooling.
And they made a big splash entering the label market, right? The Acurio Wide AL400.
Huge move. They basically said the label market today is like wide format was 15 years ago. Low entry barrier, potentially massive margins.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah, and they showed other tech too, their UV inkjet platform, the AJ30000 Jet 30000, cut sheet 23 by 29 size, plus new models with high chroma inks, feed resistance, and the AcuriPress C140 10S running white ink. Lots of decoration options.
Okay, let's move into large format proper. Always exciting stuff happening there, especially around like user experience and safety, it seemed. HP had something interesting.
Yeah, they focused on an entry-level hybrid, the HP Latex R530. Handles rigid and flexible stuff.
Okay, hybrid's useful. What's the hook?
It's their latex ink. You know, the one that's famously low VOC.
Volatile organic compounds.
Right. Almost zero VOCs, actually, which means no special ventilation needed.
Ah, that's a big deal for shops in like strip malls or shared buildings. Venting is expensive and complicated.
Exactly. It dramatically lowers the barrier for getting into rigid printing if you don't have the ideal space. Makes it way easier.
Okay, Epson, this is where the color stuff got really wild, right?
Oh, yeah. Their flagship solvent machine, the SureColor 9170, it's a beast. But the number of inks is just, wow.
How many?
11.
11. What are they?
Okay, so you got your standard CMYK, then light cyan, light magenta, gray, red, orange, and green, plus a slot for white or a cleaning pack.
Good grief. Why so many?
To hit the color gamut, they claim it captures 99.5% of the full Pantone range.
99.5%. Okay, if you're dealing with picky brands, that's your answer right there.
Absolutely. Brand consistency solved. And check this out for maintenance.
What's that?
It's apparently the only solvent printer out there with a user-replaceable printhead.
Get out. Seriously. Think about that. Printhead goes down. You swap it yourself. No waiting days for a tech, no massive downtime bill.
That alone could be worth the price of admission. Huge operational advantage.
Huge. And they also had the SureColor V7000 flatbed, 4x8 foot print area. Comes in under 100 grand.
Under 100K for a 4x8 flatbed. Okay, that opens up flatbed printing to a whole different tier of shops.
It's much more accessible.
All right, finally, Zante. You mentioned they solved a really annoying problem.
Yes. Okay, their gear is cool. The XR126, that's a 10-foot roll-to-roll. It can even run 2 5-foot rolls side by side to double speed. Uses 5 inks, CMYK in white.
Okay, productive.
And the X121 flatbed, 5x10 media up to 3 inches thick. They said it can print like 12 Coroplast yard signs in maybe 9 minutes.
Fast. Fast is good, but what's the annoying problem they solved?
Installation. This was genius.
How so?
Think about installing a big flatbed. Often the gantry, the big beam with the print heads, it's fixed. It doesn't come off.
Right, so you need double doors, loading dock, maybe even a crane. Exactly. Sometimes you got to rip out a window or cut a hole in the roof.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. Zante designed their flatbed so the gantry can be removed easily. The bed goes on carts, the gantry gets carried. The whole thing fits through a standard single door.
No way.
Standard door.
That's brilliant. That saves potentially thousands, maybe tens of thousands in installation costs and hassle.
It's that kind of practical thinking that really stands out sometimes, beyond just speeds and feeds.
Absolutely. Which kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? We've talked speed, sparkle, practicality, but what about the foundation? The stuff holding it all together?
Yeah, the bigger picture,
Yeah.
and this is critical. We heard from Peter Avery at Visual Edge IT, their VP of Security and Compliance. He raised a huge red flag.
What was it?
With all this amazing new tech, AI showing up, all this data, PII, personally identifiable information flowing through these machines, practically none of the vendors were leading with how they're securing it all.
Oof, that's not good.
It's a major gap. His point was stark. Innovation does not equal security. If you're buying these connected machines, you have to make sure they meet your compliance needs. Don't assume the manufacturer has handled it.
Because they're focused on features, not necessarily compliance regs.
Right, and that security piece feeds directly into the bigger questions. Eric Stavola, also from Visual Edge, heard from attendees, people weren't just asking, how fast does it print?
They were asking bigger strategic questions.
Exactly. Three main ones kept coming up. First, do we have the right tech stack? Shops are realizing the printer is just one piece. They need to rethink their entire technology ecosystem.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, how can we move faster? Not just printing faster, but capturing files, routing jobs, improving the whole infrastructure to be more responsive.
Okay, efficiency across the board. And the third?
The classic, what don't I know? People know things are complex. They're looking for better visibility, better insights into their own operations,
Yeah, managing print, data, cloud services, security. It's a lot.
It is. And the takeaway is it all has to work together. The device, the data, the infrastructure, you can't separate them anymore. And security isn't optional. It's the baseline that makes the whole user experience work.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this deep dive. What are the core takeaways? We saw powerful new production platforms like Xerox's Proficio line, Kyocera's scalable 15,000-seat inkjet.
Definitely. We saw digital embellishment becoming like table stakes, not just an add-on. Konica Minolta's push, Canon integrating third-party tools.
And in large format. More versatility, hybrid machines like HP's focusing on safety with low VOC inks, Epson hitting insane color gamuts, and Xante solving real-world logistical headaches.
Right. But the essential connection for you, the listener, I think, is that buying the next big iron isn't the whole story. You have to consider how it plugs into your tech ecosystem and, critically, how you ensure it's secure and compliant from day one.
Which raises a really important, maybe provocative final thought.
Yeah. As this high-speed inkjet, this automation, makes these really complex, high-value jobs seem almost routine. What happens to all the older gear, the stuff that isn't secured, isn't integrated? How fast does that become obsolete? And does that force print shops to basically rethink their entire physical and digital setup all at once? Because it feels like you can't really upgrade one without the other anymore.
Thanks for listening to this recap and review of Printing United. To learn more, visit visualedgeit.com. That's visualedgeit.com.